Ryan Garcia's response to Devin Haney's victory over Brian Norman Jr. was both praise-filled and strategically calculated, a reflection of the complicated history between the two fighters and the stakes that remain high for a potential rematch. In Riyadh, Haney secured a unanimous decision over Norman, with scorecards reading 117 to 110, 116 to 111, and 114 to 113, and also dropped the previously undefeated champion in round 2. Garcia, who fought Haney previously, was quick to call out his rival's performance on social media, congratulating him and subtly laying the groundwork for their next showdown. Garcia tweeted, "Congratulations, Devin. Great performance. Let's the stars align, sparkles." At first glance, his message sounds sincere. But beneath the surface, it's clear that Garcia is also protecting his interests, especially when you consider how win or go home their rivalry remains. Haney's win in Riyadh earned him the WBO welterweight title and marked the third division in which he has now held a world belt. Garcia's congratulatory tone may be genuine, but key insiders believe it's also a way to keep the narrative alive for a 2026 rematch. Indeed, Garcia's reaction has been interpreted by some analysts as a strategic positive spin designed to maintain momentum toward another fight with Haney. He knows that if he criticizes Haney too harshly now, he might jeopardize public appetite for a rematch, especially if he still has to earn that shot back. According to reports, Garcia must first beat WBC titleist Mario Barrios before a replay of his rivalry with Haney can realistically happen. On top of that, Garcia had previously expressed his confidence in Haney's abilities, predicting that Haney would figure out Brian Norman. "It's not about speed or power in this," he said in a pre-fight prediction. "I think Devin just frustrates Norman. Norman can very much prove me wrong." His analysis turned out to be alarmingly prescient. Haney's sharp footwork, ring IQ, and ability to control the pace clearly played a central role in his unanimous decision win. Of course, the specter of their past looms large. Their first fight, April 2024 at Barclays Center in New York, was wild and contentious. Garcia dropped Haney 3 times over 12 rounds, earning a majority decision victory only for that result to be overturned after Garcia tested positive for ostarine. The scandal left both camps bruised and wary. That history, and the unresolved tension, means that every comment from Garcia now is read with a sharp eye, interpreted not just as praise, but as political maneuvering. Still, despite all that, Garcia's comment on Haney's Norman performance leans into respect. It's not a dig, it's leverage. He knows that Haney scoring a win like this helps build the legitimacy of a rematch. If the public believes Haney truly is elite, a second fight becomes far more marketable and potentially lucrative for both men. Garcia's praise also aligns with his wider narrative. He wants the rematch on his terms. He's made it clear before that he doesn't want to fight unless the conditions are right, and that includes his next opponent first proving themselves. Once Barrios, if that fight materializes, is handled, Garcia can return to calling for Haney again with renewed legitimacy. But not everyone is fully buying Garcia's warm words. Some fans and media members interpret his praise as overly cautious, a way to avoid biting the hand that might feed him in the future. After all, his social media message is brief, light on detail, and paired with that emoji, sparkles, which reads more like a branding move than a genuine breakdown of Haney's performance. On the other hand, you can't ignore that Garcia's comment resonates with his previously stated prediction. He understood Haney, to some extent, before the fight. Garcia believed Haney's experience would allow him to frustrate Norman and win on points rather than go for fireworks. And it played out that way. That alignment between his pre-fight analysis and post-fight reaction adds credibility to his praise. There's also a tactical dimension. By congratulating Haney now, Garcia stays in good standing with fans and the boxing establishment, without closing the door on what has always been the most important fight for him, Haney too. If he had chosen to trash talk instead, he risks alienating potential backers or turning public opinion against him. Instead, he looks measured, respectful, and calculated. It's a sophisticated move, and a boxing veteran move, even if Garcia is still young. He's learned that in elite-level boxing, timing matters just as much as power. He knows reputations are fragile and rematches are built as much in media as in the ring. By publicly embracing Haney's win now, he sets up his next steps more cleanly. It's not naive, it's strategic. Observers also point out that Garcia's tone may be influenced by what he sees as shortcomings in Norman's strategy. In his reaction, Garcia criticized Norman's game plan, suggesting that Norman failed to think his way out of trouble and was simply overwhelmed by Haney's movement. That line of thinking echoes what some analysts said after the fight. Norman, with all his power, risked being too rigid, too one-dimensional to truly test an elite boxer like Haney. Of course, not everyone in Garcia's circle has agreed with his tone. Former champion Robert Garcia, no relation, recently offered scathing remarks about Haney's style in the lead-up to the Norman fight, saying he feared that if Haney once again circled, held, or ran, fans would be disappointed. That comment adds another layer. Garcia's public praise now may also be a response to those external voices pushing for more action, more fire, and less safety in Haney's boxing. Beyond the theatrics and posturing, however, there's a deeper truth to Garcia's words. Haney's win was legitimately impressive. Norman Jr. came into the fight undefeated, with 22 knockouts on his record. To drop and then outbox a fighter of that size and strength over 12 rounds takes skill, discipline, and composure. It's exactly the kind of victory that allows Haney to rebuild his reputation after past controversy. Garcia seems to recognize that. At the same time, Garcia's praise helps him preserve a path forward, one that includes the fight everyone keeps talking about, a rematch. Boxing is as much about storylines as it is about punches, and Garcia is ensuring that the story between him and Haney remains alive and compelling. Looking ahead, the chess match continues. If Garcia wins his next fight, against Barrios, as per reports, he could officially trigger a rematch clause or at least reopen negotiations with Haney's camp. He'll likely lean on this social media reaction, this spirit of sportsmanship, to argue that the rematch is not only deserved but inevitable. Meanwhile, Haney has validated himself in a new weight class, silenced many doubters, and added a shiny new title to his collection. The stakes for 2026 are enormous. Ryan Garcia's reaction to Haney's Norman win may be short on words, but it's loaded with meaning. It's praise, yes, but also promise. He's telling fans, I respect what you just saw. And he's telling Haney, I see you. But he's also telling the business side, I'm still in this. May the stars align, indeed. If and when they clash again, don't expect fireworks just for the spectacle. They'll come because Garcia has carefully laid the psychological foundation. And that might just make the rematch even more explosive. Subscribe Fight Shire for more of this kind of content.